Disclaimer, this video is about chosen people in abstract, not any group in particular. Any perceived similarities with any real-life groups exist solely in the viewer's imagination. Enjoy. Hello. Since the dawn of civilization, there have always been groups who call themselves the chosen people. For whatever reason, they claim that they have a divine right to rule the world. In this video, I explore the psychology and culture of these self-proclaimed chosen people, including how this manifests itself in society and at the seats of power. Let's begin. First of all, I want you to imagine two people, Noah and Alan. Noah, who is one of the chosen people, is told from early childhood that he is special, part of a special group chosen by God to rule over everyone not in that group. He is told that these other people are wicked, ignorant, and inferior, whilst he is special, wise, chosen, intelligent, and superior. Alan, meanwhile, is told that he is an individual, that people achieve things on their own merit, and that the system is fair. Later in life, it is time for Noah and Alan to go to school. Both boys are very bright, as bright as each other, so both try out for a scholarship to a nearby fee-paying school. This scholarship is not purely based on test scores, but also on character. Luckily for Noah, his parents go to the same religious institution as the headmaster of this school. They tell the headmaster of Noah's talents and their desire for him to go to the school. Meanwhile, neither Alan nor his parents have these useful connections, and even if they did, they wouldn't believe it fair to abuse them. They are under the impression that the entrance system is based on merit. Naturally, it is Noah who ends up winning the scholarship. Alan is told that he did a great job, but that whoever won must have been just that little bit better. Later still, both boys, who have achieved well in education, sports, and extracurricular activities, end up making it to a top university. Now, both boys want to become the house captain. The appointment of this role is decided by a committee of 5 academics. Noah, who has by this point visibly identified himself as belonging to the chosen group, is lucky to find that one of these academics is also one of the chosen people. The other 4 academics are not part of the special chosen group. So, whilst the 4 non-chosen academics assess the applications meritocratically, the chosen academic uses his influence to push things in the favour of Noah. Again, Noah gets the position, whilst Alan does not, rationalising that he must again have not quite been good enough. Then, after university, the time comes for the now young men to find a job. Here, both boys want to go into a financial position through a graduate programme which is very oversubscribed. Still, both lads have had excellent grades, plenty of achievements in sport, and plenty of extracurricular interests. Objectively, both young chaps are equally intelligent and are equally competent. This time, the application process is entirely neutral and meritocratic, with nobody from the chosen group involved in the process at all. Alas, despite both lads being objectively equal fits, Noah can brag about his scholarship into a top fee-paying school, as well as his being a house captain in university, whilst Alan can brag of no such things. So, it is once again Noah who gets the position. Here, despite objective equality and an unbiased selection process, Noah benefits from his previous biased treatment. Now, if Alan were to compare himself to Noah, he would say that Noah had more merits, as Noah could boast of these prior achievements that Noah was realistically no better suited to than Alan. Through this example, we have seen how the nepotistic treatment of a person within the chosen group has led to a member of said chosen people attaining a better position in life, even where bias wasn't present. Over time, this leads members of the chosen people to disproportionately fill the most powerful societal roles. We also saw how someone not of the chosen people rationalised their inferior attainment as being a matter of lower merit, despite both people being objectively equally capable. Now, however, it is time to talk about what happens when this gets noticed. Though at times people can be incredibly ignorant, we are smart enough that examples such as the one I've just detailed do eventually get noticed. Chosen people of any stripe cannot disproportionately reach top positions without raising suspicion. So how do they tackle this? Among themselves, this is easy. They're the chosen people imbued with the divine right to rule over others. Of course, they should reach the top positions. However, this doesn't do much to convince the non-chosen. So, the first line of defense is to come up with some nonsense about why they deserve these top positions. Within a culture that is broadly meritocratic, this is achieved with a supremacy narrative. Supremacy narratives can, of course, come in many varieties. Whether the nonsense is about people skills, networking, literary achievement, cultural drive, intelligence of any form, or any combination thereof, the chosen people will find some way to justify their disproportionate achievements, and therefore their disproportionate influence and power. This may work for some time, but even this trick will be sniffed out. Eventually, people will come to feel that these chosen people aren't actually any better, and that their positions are gained through a large dose of nepotism, not pure merit. To a chosen person who may genuinely believe in their own superiority, this understandably causes quite a foul reaction. Now, typically with a view held so strongly as the belief in one's own divine supremacy, a person will not opt to reevaluate their worldview, but instead get overwhelmed with cognitive dissonance, potentially acting out in quite an extreme manner. Naturally, any negative reaction will only serve to confirm the non-chosen people's belief that the powerful chosen people do not deserve their positions of power, creating a grievance narrative against them. I'm not here to say whether this is or is not justified, but instead to point out in a value-neutral way that this is what happens. Anyway, thus far I have only talked about the consequences of in-group preference. Though this is especially strong in the case of those groups who call themselves chosen, it can apply to any sufficiently nepotistic group. Now though, I shall talk about the particular extremeness of the actions justified by a narrative of being chosen. To really drive home the extreme narcissism of chosen people, imagine that, since childhood, you are told that there is a creator of the universe, one being who has built it all from nothing. He is all-knowing, all-present, and all-powerful. And out of every group on the planet, or even the universe, he chose you, not only to live in a utopian promised land, but to rise up, take power, and rule over all of humanity. By divine will, your group's rightful place is to subjugate all other men to you. This is what you've been told since you were born, repeated to you by your family, friends, community, wise religious masters, and people in some of the highest positions in the world. It is something you believe to your very core. Imagine then the lengths to which you would go to claim what you believe to be your rightful place as world ruler. Now imagine that, in reality, you are not the world ruler. Your people are not many. Plenty of non-chosen people are smarter, fitter, better looking, and better achieving than you. You are told that such people have conspired to oppress you, and perhaps they even did, but it is still your duty to rule over them. To what lengths would you go to destroy these people? If your rule really is God's will, then any hesitation to enact it would be an affront to God, a challenge against his legitimacy and wisdom. Unless you are prepared to challenge God, then the answer is that you would go to any length to enact his will. Unfortunately for the non-chosen, this makes you their existential enemy. For these reasons, chosen people of various stripes will do many a thing otherwise unthinkable in order to secure their rule. If they are sufficiently cunning, they would seek to utterly subvert your culture, undermine your morality, selling you on indulgent vices and bad ideas, manipulating history to paint you as the villain, and weaponizing authority to prevent you from fighting back. Thus, chosen people can behave in an entirely Machiavellian manner with no regard to morality whatsoever. As many of you may know, a certain degenerative YouTuber once said that he is not about principled failure, his principle is to win. That is how chosen people think. To win is to enact God's will, to lose is to fail God, and to object on principle is to question God. This is believed by the fundamentalists as strong as humanly possible. With this understanding, the actions of chosen people make far more sense. Of course, to us it's disgusting, but disgust is our principle, not the principle of Machiavellian chosen people. Their principle is to win. So I'm not suggesting that anyone do anything rash or say anything uncouth, but instead to simply be aware of the situation and act accordingly. Any group that views itself as chosen is hostile, with no exceptions. The reasons outlined in this video are why. Anyway, that does it for today. This video is designed to be for channel members only, but if my members think it ought to be made public, then I shall make it so. Of course, thank you for watching and thank you for buying a membership. I hope this video has made it just that little bit more worthwhile, and there is plenty more to come in the future. Other than that, I hope you have a nice day and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.